if it's not true, flipping it.
Flip it to the
Flipping to
opposite
something.
way. Is
So
that
if someone's
100%
like,
true?
you know, I'm not perfect, so people don't like me. And so you're like, if you were perfect, everyone would like you.
Yeah.
Actually, people hate you the more
People
perfect
hate
are.
you the more perfect.
Yeah,
you are.
so you realize that it's a fraudulent concept. A spiritual chiropractor.
My friends call me the real life Care Bear.
Talk it out. Oh my gosh, we're back again.
We're back again.
Welcome to episode.
Oh, okay, that was Backstreet Boy. Oh my God, we're back again.
I think it's like a threat. Like we're back again at old age. Girls are freaking out. Like when I was doing magic in university, they asked my buddy James, like, "What's it like hanging out with Morgan?" And he said, "It's like hanging out with a boy band, but with like way less opportunity to be with girls." Anyways, welcome to Black Sheep Thinking, episode number
17.
I am Morgan Pierce.
And I am Andrew Potvay. And we are Black Sheep Thinking.
Two life coaches and best friends here to share with you the idea of getting out of your head and into the truth of who you are. So you can solve your life by being the best version of you without any effort.
Yeah.
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 Magic.
Magic. Today we're going to talk about beliefs.
I had to think for a second. I had to think about if I believed in what we were believing. Beliefs. Beliefs are, so we just talked about
psychology.
And now we're talking about beliefs. So that's good. It's a good segue into what we're talking about into the next few episodes. Beliefs are destructive. Every belief I thought I had before I had this understanding has dissolved for the most part.
Yeah, I'd say beliefs are the conditions we place upon the world so that it will live up to our standards.
That's a good definition. I also see it as a way to make sense of the world where we create boundaries and rules so we can navigate things with structure that's imaginary. So, for example, let's talk about money is the root of all evil is a belief.
Yes.
Blondes have more fun is a belief.
Yep.
With great power
comes great responsibility.
Belief, yeah. And so how do we answer those? Like, pardon me. So with great power doesn't come great responsibility, comes great opportunity.
Yes.
That you can do something. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you have to do it.
Yeah.
Blondes don't have more fun. I'm sure they have fun as much as a brunette or a redhead.
Yep.
Money is not the root of all evil.
No.
What is?
What is your personal mind
and the
your
obsession,
beliefs, your beliefs,
that too.
The belief,
the obsession of money.
Yeah, the obsession. It's greed,
the hoarding of it.
Yeah,
and so there are beliefs that pop up. We're going to challenge you today to kind of look at the beliefs that you have and ask yourself, are they limiting you?
Mm-hmm.
Are they creating for you? Are they getting in the way and causing conflict? And
what are some old beliefs you used to have that you had to get rid of?
One was that I had to make everybody happy. That my job is to make everyone around me happy, or that if someone left my life, it meant that I wasn't enough.
Yep.
That I had to work really, really hard. You had to grind out and hustle 110% to get what you wanted in life. I realized that life can be about ease and rest is important.
Yep.
And other things. I mean, the story I always tell for clients is that when my mother-in-law left an abusive marriage and she moved to Kingston.
Yep.
We were happy to receive her, and she just retired from a well-paying long-term career working for a university. And she's saying, I still need to work as part of the divorce settlement, and but nobody hires anyone over the age of 60.
Mm-hmm.
And that was. I was like, Mom, that's not true. That's a great time to work. People are working well into their late 70s. Most people retire at, say, 65.
Yep.
Do you even know why 65 is the retirement age?
No, I don't. That's actually, I want to know now.
So back when they made CPP in Canada and they made 60, it was because the average person lived to like 63 or something, or 64, or maybe it was in 65. So if you made it past that, they will pay.
They were like, we'll pay you if you live long enough.
But now that's why they pushed it out, because people are living well into their late 80s now, and then they're using too much CPP. So this was just an arbitrary thing. But most people that did retire at 65, in my personal experience, they would take 2 or 3 years travel and they go, oh my gosh, I'm bored.
Yeah.
And to go back to work. And so becomes these beliefs think about the beliefs you have about being a parent or about anything. What are some of your beliefs that you were carrying with you?
The same one of like, you got to work really, really, really hard and grind it out to become successful. That was one I had to put down. I had a belief of like, I had to like exercise daily in order to
You see benefit
in order to be in good shape or in order to be healthy. What were some other of the beliefs that I had? There was a lot around parenting of like how to raise my kids and stuff like that, and how to like teach them right from wrong. And I had a belief that my kids were mine.
Right.
Like and my kids are a reflection of me.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That people carry is like, oh, if my kid misbehaves, it means I'm a bad parent or I'm not doing well.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a big one for me.
That's good. So So, I mean, take a second if you're listening to this to think about some of the things that you might carry. I tell the story about Tammy Time Waster and how beliefs impact us. This must be a good time to tell it.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. I like that.
And so something that people don't know about me that I keep as a secret is that I can sell the hell out of women's clothes.
It's true. It's true.
I don't wear them.
I was just going to say, he looks great in them too.
Although Halloween. Yeah, when I dressed up as a woman, that's fair. So I guess that's a lie.
Yeah.
I do occasionally wear women's clothes for special occasions. But that being said, I'm honest about what women wear. I'm not afraid to hold your purse. Yeah. And I was hired by an ex-girlfriend to cover, she managed a Ricky's clothing store, and I went in and covered it. And I just enjoyed it. And I remember the first day I showed up, I called the girl Tammy. Her name wasn't Tammy. To protect her and the innocence of the guilty, she said, if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. And if you're on time, you're late. And that was a belief. But I didn't know about it.
I used to carry that belief.
Yeah. And think about how you roll, how people hang toilet paper, how people squeeze toothpaste. Those things have ruined marriages.
It's true.
And there's arguments over them.
It's true.
And those are just belief systems on how life should work. And I just want you to recognize there's no right answer. Mm-hmm. Instead of being right, understand. And that's the point. But here's how it can impact you if you carry beliefs tightly. And this is what the story's about. So I didn't take it personally just because I didn't think. I'm like, sure, I've heard it a million times like you have. And I am notorious for being a bit punctually deficited. Anyway, so but I'm showing up on time because, I mean, she's driving and she runs the store. So she's opening it. So I'm there. And I noticed a couple days in that Tammy is flying in the door through the front door to punch in. It was an old-fashioned punch clock like I'll work at the old days. And so I, in the back room, so I'm folding or something, and I see her coming in. And I just glance at my watch, and it's like 7 minutes to the hour, and I don't think anything of it except for, she's not early, but she's more than that time. No one said anything. But she's the kind of woman that was like, hack darts and be like really hard on her sleeve and a little bit of a curmudgeon where she's like, yeah, this is a tough job. She just speak her truth. Well, that day she was quiet and humble. No one said anything. And then a couple days later, I'm back on shift with someone, same sort of thing. Tammy's already there. And this other woman, we'll call her Betty, whatever. Betty comes in. She's a blonde girl that has 2 kids that are feral that she can't, probably took her an hour to get the kids' shoes on. Yeah. And we know those kids too. They're fun to play. We've all had that if you have children. And she comes flying through the door, and I look at my watch, and she has minutes, and she gets there, and she punches, and she comes out, she's like, yes, I did it.
Yeah, made it on time. Yeah.
But not in Tammy's definition. And so people were working, and it's a busy day during the Christmas season. And that kind of, in their culture, that retail store, they're very helpful. And like, if someone's in the change room, you check on them, even about your sale. And it's just a very team environment. Well, Tammy's acting very aloof and aggressive when it's handing things to her, and she's not being helpful. And a couple of the girls notice, and they kind of bring it up, like, what's Tammy's problem? I'm like, oh, I think I know. Do you remember when I first came in and she said I'm 15 minutes early? And she goes, yeah. I go, I saw a couple of days ago. She didn't show up. She was 7 minutes to it. She's like, the girl said, so? I'm like, well, no one cares. But that's Tammy's belief. Yeah. And the fact that she was violating in her own world meant she had a story about who she was. Yeah. And I can imagine on the way to work, she was driving aggressively, flipping people the bird. She was definitely had anxiety. Yep. And she came in that door, and because it violated her belief, and it was about her identity, about who she is, she went into shame and self-doubt, and she beat herself up that day, which is why she was so quiet. Yeah. And then she sees Betty, or whatever I call her. Betty. Betty flies to the door, and she's just happy she made it. She has 2 kids. She's surprised she got to work at all. And and when Tammy saw her, she was like, whoa, because we're, as an animalistic creature of humans and all animals, fairness is an important thing. Yeah. She realized that's not fair in her head. She goes, that's not fair. You're not supposed to be happy. You're supposed to feel shame. Yeah. And and the world needs to be fair. I felt bad that day. Someone needs to make you feel bad. So I'm going to take responsibility and make sure that you feel that way by me trying to make you feel that way. And I can't, and if Tammy just had a lighter perspective of her belief system, realizing that we don't control time. Punctuality, we believe, is relatively important. It is. It's respectful to a certain degree, but not really, because we also understand life happens. You don't control the clock. You can be as we've gone to places 45 minutes early and still got 10 minutes late because of circumstances. And
you never know what you're going to run into.
You don't know, and people are understanding. And I hate when people say, sorry, I'm late, because when no one wants you to feel sorrow. I recommend the first thing you say if you're late is thank you for your patience. It shows gratitude versus sorrow. And I think that's a big shift in energy. However, if you could just shift your beliefs, she can still be early, but she won't wear it. And I think that's what happens when we have beliefs, is that because life is going to go against. If you think blondes have more fun, you see a bunch of brunettes having fun, it's going to bother you.
What the hell is going on here?
Why'd I dye my hair?
And what's better than shifting your belief to the opposite? Because some people will believe that that's what they need to do. Oh, well, then I need to believe the total opposite. Well, it's not, because that's just going to give you another belief to stand on, and then you'll find out that that's not true, and somebody else doesn't live up to that belief, or the world doesn't live up to that belief. And when you could just get rid of beliefs in general and realize that, like you say, there is no right or wrong. We're all navigating this world the same way. We're all just trying to enjoy our lives and do our very best.
Yeah, and the structure around it, of the wall you put up with the belief, means it's bound to get challenged. It could cause you issues in the sense of, and if you recognize, like, there are facts in the world, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to belief systems, I mean, look at how it's destroying the world, certain beliefs.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's people that believe all sorts of things about cultural, about gender, that's causing division, rather than right and wrong. And when we're acceptance of situations, understanding people's perspectives, beliefs kind of popped up in that great video with the magic show. I was sharing today with one of our clients that the Derek Delgadio in and of itself, where he talks about the elephant, and he talks about the story about 5 blind men, or he says it was 6, it's told different ways, and how they all touch parts of the elephant and recognize
think it's something different.
And they argue it, which is about perspective. But then he flips it and says, what is this from the elephant's perspective? 5 people come out and touch you, and then they tell you what you are. And these beliefs that are held by people that they can't see, they might be wrong, that all of a sudden this magical creature that they thought it could be. All the thing. You have to watch the video. Check it out. It's Derek Delgadio, and just look at Derek Delgadio, the elephant. Good luck spelling Delgadio. But his show is great in and of itself.
It is a really good
show about a lot of the stuff we talk about. Just sprayed in a magic show, and so very artistic. But the thing is like those beliefs can create someone believing in what they are in themselves.
Absolutely.
Right? You're not punctual. You're not this. You're not that. Why? Because someone believes that that's the right way. I've actually had that discussion when I was working at RBC Wealth. One of the managers argued that I told her, never say sorry for being late. I always say. She said, no, I want people to feel bad when they're late for me. I'm like, that's a horrible.
I want to make people feel bad.
But there's some truth in that, in the sense that not that people want something bad, but if there's a belief, the argumentative side comes out of, if your belief
because you're defending your belief
wrong, and there's just there's no stance,
exactly,
which is why the whole argument about whose lives matter occurred, right? Because people misunderstand that, and then when someone says, well, shouldn't we all be equal? No, that's not what it's about. And then there's beliefs around that, and there's beliefs about every single political thing, and it's not that none of them are, either they're all important or none of them are important.
It's true. And if you can take a second to look at the beliefs that you have, that you carry, that have been bestowed upon you from somebody else's belief system.
Oh, that's a great point.
And realize how many arguments, how many tough situations you put yourself into because of this belief system that's not even yours necessarily, but somebody else has put up on you. Similar to like what you're saying about the elephant. What is that like from the elephant's point of view, where they've told him what he is? And how many times have you created a belief system in your life based on what somebody else has told you?
Especially in a form of parenting, whether you're telling your kids something or being parented. Right? Like, I can't. Well, even in concepts of us helping people heal, how many times have we heard them say, everything happens for a reason? And we were like, that's a belief. Like, the reason you assign to it after it happens, whether it was an Andrew McKee concept. It was like, right, because if we knew everything happened for a reason, then we would know beforehand if we did something that would have occurred.
Exactly. Then we should be able to predict the future by now. Like, how come we can't?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so those beliefs that we carry, people, that's one thing a really great coach, I always say, like, yeah, you can learn a lot of stuff that we teach, but if you don't have outwards insight sometimes on the beliefs you carry, people will say things flippantly like it's a fact.
It's true.
And you'll be like, whoa.
It's true. I've caught people like that many times in meetings where they just say something and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Let's write that down for a second and break that down and see what that really means.
Yeah.
And how that gets in the way of you experiencing this life in a different way.
And so we often refer to Katie Byron. So if you have a belief,
Byron Katie.
Thank you, Byron Katie. Katie Byron. I'm the worst with names.
Whatever.
I never met her.
Yeah.
I hope it's a girl. I know it is. So, Byron Katie's, the bulk of her work is to look at a belief, something you state as a fact.
Yeah.
And then ask yourself, is it true? And they'll always say yes, maybe. But then the question is it 100% true? The answer is always no.
Yeah.
Because it's not 100% true. And then ask yourself, how do you feel when you believe that? And then how would you feel if you didn't feel that, to have those words in your head, that belief, and you didn't care that, how would you feel?
Mm-hmm.
And so and then asking yourself, if you flip the statement, what if it's not true?
Flip it to the opposite way.
So it sounds like, I'm not perfect, so people don't like me. And so you're like, if you were perfect, everyone would like you. No, actually, people hate you the more
perfect.
Yeah, so you realize that it's a fraudulent concept, which is really cool. But there's so many things that people carry as part of the way they live their lives to make them feel safe that actually entrap them. And they'll often believe those beliefs kind of structure every decision.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you think your beliefs are keeping you safe, but really what they're doing is they're blocking you from experiencing life from a different place and from a place of peace and calm and happiness.
Yeah. And they'll push you into making fearful decisions or limited choices.
Yeah.
Like nobody hires you after 60. Well, that's why my mother-in-law ended up taking a job working at Costco as a sample giver or whatever.
Yeah. Or you need money to make money.
Yeah, there's another one.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was one of the reasons we did TP the Town as a charity. People think, yes, it was impactful. We stopped doing it because we didn't believe it was sustainable to have like the whole world have toilet paper. We're not killing a bunch of trees, but it was a short.
Yeah, get a bidet, man.
Yeah, bidet the town.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that's the next. But the truth was, it was more about two things. One was, I wanted to show to people that they can make a difference without money, and we didn't spend a dime.
Yeah,
and that was important. I mean, it took time, and time is an exchange of money, but it was never. And number two was that it was bringing awareness to an important cause. I think awareness is people realize, well, what about toothbrushes? What about this? And it's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things.
What about feminine hygiene products, which is another organization does that, and we just wanted to bring awareness to it. And I think when you understand that, I would challenge anyone out there that if you have something in your head where you're like, nobody will buy my product, or I'm afraid to do this, or you believe that life has a certain way.
Yeah.
To write it down and just for fun, do like the George Costanza thing for a week. Just do the opposite.
Do the opposite. See what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah.
And understand, that the belief systems you carry, if they're getting in the way of your success, or they're making you play small, or they're causing conflict.
Yeah.
That you can look at it and realize that holding on to that so dearly is just really masking the opportunity to create.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
What else do we have to say about beliefs? I mean, it's kind of on the subject. It was like the Santa Claus thing where, remember I did in university that study where we did invest as many people as possible, kind of a couple hundred. And this is, we're looking over 15 years ago, but maybe longer. But the internet is still a big deal, but it was just, brand new.
It's brand new, fresh in the
no, but it was like we asked everyone locally in that area. It was like different people who believed in Santa. How did they feel when they found out there was no such thing as Santa?
Yeah,
and the belief shifted.
Yep.
And like half the people were like devastated.
Yeah, when
they found out, and the other half of them were like they didn't really care, but they also found out in a way where. And I always think it's funny because I wish I could follow up on how many of them, how committed were they to that belief? Because in my family, I've seen families do this. They look. We should make this a child warning. If your kids are listening.
Yeah. No kidding.
Oh, no. If your kids are listening and they find this out, I'm sorry. They probably know. The point is that my parents would we put out chocolate cookies and milk. There'd be sounds on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's like radar.
Yeah.
There's a Google thing that you can call
it's amazing.
Conversation.
It's amazing the lengths we go to keep that belief alive, right?
It's true. And how long? And when people ask why to do that, it's because the way it makes me feel, the look on their face.
Yeah.
But what they don't recognize sometimes, and this is where there was a shift for me in understanding how to play it out with my son, because the look on their face when they find out that you were lying to them or it was a practical joke, and you destroy that belief system, and it bothers them because they were holding on to something that helped them experience something different.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine, that's why I always bring that back. I can't imagine how hard it is and it's just as hard, if not harder, for adults who have belief systems in their life that they've structured around that. This happened because of this.
Yeah.
This is the belief I carry on why I'm successful or why I'm a failure or why I'm not supposed to open up a business or what I can't a great example of someone in real life as an adult is if they stick with the job for a while and they they believe like, oh, but what if I fail at the new job? It means I was selfish or greedy and I had that belief when that was when I had to put down to I was successful in finance. Why am I leaving?
Yeah.
I had a belief that people would judge me as greedy or midlife crisis or just arrogant for trying or doing what I really wanted.
Yeah.
And those are all beliefs that were projected and have a bunch of other stuff, but none of them are true and none of them matter.
Yeah.
And so I just want people this is the hard one for people as a conversation to be take a look at your beliefs, because how can you
It's tough.
something?
It's tough because it starts to challenge the very core of who you think you are.
And the way you structure your life around the things that kept you safe.
Yeah.
But beliefs also, again, they keep us unsafe.
Yeah.
If you believe, I mean, you can think about it, right? Like all the things people say. What do you got? You got something else?
No, I was just listening.
It was like a nice sigh there. That was like, you're about to do one of your, I got a thing.
I got it.
So, well, until that pops up, we still have a little bit more time. I would just say this, that it was just popping in my head a lot of things that people even say culturally. I mean, about, the beliefs they have about doctors, the beliefs they have, that old joke, the difference between God and a doctor.
What's that? God
doesn't think he's a doctor.
Yeah.
He beliefs that God, that all, doctors are arrogant. All cops are bad.
Yeah.
And, that all cops are power hungry and that all life coaches are arrogant. Or know-it-alls, and that or everybody who's trying to sell you something is just after your money. They're not trying to help you. When we start to have those belief systems, it's why people kind of end up hiding because they believe the world works a certain way. And I just think it's very dangerous. And that's the funny part.
That's true. I actually had a belief when I started coaching that me asking people for money to coach was like a greedy thing, right? Because I made it about the money.
Yeah.
And about trying to make money at coaching and then realizing that it's just about the commitment and creating commitment for people, and then seeing the difference in people that I'd offered it to for free, and they never took it and applied it to their lives.
And the shift for me was when Arizona said, if I could remove all your pain and you could keep all your wisdom, what would you pay for that? I was like, a zillion. Every penny I had is anything less than that's a discount and just a sign of commitment to your growth, which people pay to university, but they won't go to the library for free and read every book. And so it's because we need to commit energetically to things, which again, every belief can prevent you from seeing things clearly.
Yeah.
And that's why it's such a hard conversation for me right now, because I would not have been able to sit on a podcast and hear this and think, oh, I can start to look at my own beliefs, because the belief is that I'm okay with the way I am, and you are, but the things that are limiting you are usually such subtle things. And the problem is people agree with them. They're almost like social beliefs.
Yes.
There's so many.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like religious beliefs. It's like religious beliefs, man. And look at the amount of war and death that has occurred based on religious beliefs and the way they clash with each other.
Yeah. My mom is mean to me because I'm a bad person, other than my mom's having a tough time. The belief we carry, it's almost like we could exchange the word beliefs with judgment sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I just want people to understand that if they take a soft look at some of the things and pay attention and bring it, this is what Eckhart Tolle said, become a watcher of your thoughts. Well, I'd be more curious to watch the things that pop out of your mouth aloof when you're not really focused on what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it just comes out like it's a fact.
Yeah. Very flippantly.
Yeah. So just, if you need support with that, this is really, this sounds like a sales pitch, but it's really true. We have coaches because we often, it's so hard to catch the things that pop up. The one I'm going to share really quickly.
Yep.
I remember we had a couple people locally that started publishing books, and we're like, oh, cool. And this part of me was frustrated because I was like, oh man, like everyone's publishing a book. And I wrote or called you and said, I said, everyone we know is publishing a book. They make it look so easy. and you said, it's only as hard as you make it, which is a challenge on my belief that,
it's hard to write a book.
Yeah, it must be hard, and it's not that it's easy either. There's work, but I was making it out to be like everyone's doing it, and I'm judging myself and having this belief like I should already be done it. And that understanding of you're making it hard because we knew A, wasn't the right time, B, that's okay, and C, why do you have that belief? Oh yeah, you're right. Like
why do you believe you need to write a book right now?
And that would limit my and why do I believe that it would I can't do it, or why do I it was all about a story. And that's where we have friends, and that's why I say coaching is an important part, because studies show that outside perspective is so good at helping us catch those things and let go of the stuff that's getting in our way.
Yeah.
And that's beliefs, which will be part 2 of a 4-part series.
Yeah.
To help you understand the cornerstones and the barriers that get in the way of our life.
Yeah, the things that are blocking you from experiencing life the way you really want to.
So number 1, psychology. Number 2, beliefs. And we hope we give you some good insights and there's some value there today. If not, or so, we'd love to hear from you. And what I mean is, if not, and you think you need more support, write some of the things that you're struggling with, or give us some questions, or ask. Feel free to reach out next.
Yeah, we love your feedback.
Often. And appreciative and gratitude and all the fun words that say good things.
And again, as always, don't forget, like and subscribe if you want to come back for more.
We'll see you on our next episode. Thanks so much.
All right. Much love.
Peace.